What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Got only 2 hours to practice? No problem. Today, we're diving into how to make every single minute count so you can get the most out of your limited time. Let's get to work. Hey everyone, I'm professional golfer James Colin Davis and welcome back to the channel. Now originally I'd planned on filming a full day in the life video and then kind of realized that it'd be more beneficial to most of the viewers if I just showed you what I did to maximize my time if I only have a small window in which to practice. Now while I am a professional golfer, playing and competing is not my full-time job. My main income comes from giving lessons, especially during the winter where I'm giving about 20 to 25 hours of lessons per week. Now I also dedicate about 20 to 25 hours a week on producing content for this YouTube channel. So obviously that's not going to leave me with nearly as much time to practice as I would ideally have. And I know that most of you passionate recreational golfers can relate to this. Now, while we're on the topic, if you're enjoying the content, I would be very grateful if you would consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free for you to watch and to subscribe to the channel, but creating these videos does take a lot of time and there are certain production costs associated to every video, not to mention the original outlay of cash for cameras, editing equipment, and audio equipment. At this point, to be very honest, the channel costs more to run than it generates in revenue, as it's only generating about $150 to $200 a month at the moment. My long-term goal is to use this platform to bring you on my journey through the ranks of professional golf while using the channel to continue funding my career. But I can't do it without your support. Every subscription brings this dream one step closer to a reality. If you've been inspired by my journey, or you just enjoy the content, subscribing is a way to be a part of the team. Sharing my content with your friends is another great way to help. Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me. So, seeing as I am trying to compete at a very high level, but I have other responsibilities, I need to use the time that I do have to practice very efficiently. So this is how I would use a 2-hour practice window to get the absolute most out of my time. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. All right, first things first, warming up. A proper dynamic warm-up is essential to avoid injury and prepare your body for the session ahead. We're on a time crunch, but taking just 5 minutes doing these dynamic stretches to activate the body will help us make the most of what time we do have. I always keep these 2 workout bands in my golf bag to help me warm up before my rounds and my practice sessions. Don't rush this and get your body moving before you even pick up a club. Next, we're going to spend the next 10 minutes working on our short game. I like to start with some basic chip shots before working on hitting some different flights and some pitch shots. I'll throw some flop shots into this. This is a great way to get a feel for the club and making good contact while completing your warm-up as you gradually start making bigger swings. The short game is critical, so be deliberate and be focused here. Now we're going to spend the next 15 minutes working on our full swing. We only have limited time today, so I'm not going to work on anything overly technical. I want to use the time to focus on my fundamentals, my grip, my posture, my alignment, as well as focusing on my swing tempo. Generally speaking, if all of these aspects are in a good spot, then your ball striking will be reasonably good. I always start with my 60-degree wedge, followed by my 50-degree wedge. The clubs that I hit next depends on the date. On even dates, I practice with my even-numbered clubs. So pitching wedge, 8-iron, 6-iron, 4-iron, 2 hybrid. And on uneven days, like today, I use the opposite clubs. So 9-iron, 7-iron, 5-iron, and 3-wood. Next, I'm going to spend 10 minutes focused on my driver. The driver is a modern scoring club, which is why I commit more time to this club specifically. Hitting relatively long and straight drives really helps set you up to play the rest of the hole on the offensive instead of having to play defensively and fighting to make par. My advice to you, try not to get caught up hitting different shot shapes, especially when you don't have a lot of time. Most of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world get really good at hitting one shot. Being a one-trick pony off the tee is not a bad thing, especially if it maximizes your chances of hitting fairways and keeping your ball in play. Next up, we're spending 30 minutes with our wedges. Why so much time with wedges? Well, if I'm going to be good at getting off the tee, then I will have a lot of wedges in my hands for my approach shots. Improving my wedge game will be key to bringing down my scoring average this year. These are our scoring clubs, so you want to be proficient in distance, flight, and spin control in order to improve proximity to the hole, which is key to scoring. Work through different wedge distances, targeting specific yardages, and monitor how much spin you're generating. This is the time to dial in your wedge game, experimenting with different types of shots, full, half, and controlled spins. The more data you get on your wedge play, the more confident you'll be when you're on the course facing similar shots. Next, I'm going to pull out my driver again and hit 3 drives to get my speed feel back, because for the next 20 minutes, we're going to be doing speed training. There are many systems out there, but I've been using the super speed sticks for a few years now, and have seen good results with them. Today's protocol is a condensed one. Again, we are fighting time, so I'm not going to spend too much time focused on speed training. When working on speed, it's important to disassociate from the ball flight and result. You will miss shots, and that is okay. The goal is to move the club faster than you normally would, and secondly, to effectively transfer that energy into ball speed. This is a high intensity block, so push yourself to improve your swing speed on every rep. I was pretty happy during this session as I hit my new ball speed record for this off-season. I reached 190 miles per hour last winter, but I have not been pushing the speed training as hard this year. So we're an hour and a half in, 30 minutes to go, and we are going to spend these last 30 minutes on putting. The first 20 minutes of those focused on our setup and our start line. So I'm going to get my Vizio putting mat out here. This is going to help me work on my setup, my stroke, as well as my start line, to see that I'll get a feel for the putter, roll a few balls down the mat and into the hole, before setting my phone up on a tripod to start going over my setup. So first I'm going to start with the camera down the line. So you want this lined up with your hands, not with the ball, not with the body. Very important to get it down the hand line. I'm gonna hit a few putts here so that I can get some video. And then once I've got the video, I'm going to go into my camera roll. I'm gonna go to my setup. Right before I take the putter back, I'm gonna take a screenshot. Now I'm gonna open up that screenshot. I'm gonna use the ruler tool to look at the lie angle of my putter. Now usually I want it at 71 or 72 degrees. My habit is to get the shaft too flat.
I'm also going to use the ruler to line up my eyes with where the ball is. Now I like where that is. I like having my eyes just slightly inside of the golf ball. Again, my habit is I get my eyes too far away. Next, I'm going to get some more video, but from face on. And this really, again, is to look at my setup, at my ball position, for example. I also like using this angle to look at how I'm using my hands as I start the stroke. My habit is that I will tend to start the stroke a little bit too much with my wrists. It's almost a bit of a trigger, but I'm really trying to eliminate that. Really trying to feel like I start the stroke more with my shoulders, less with my hands. This is what has given me the best and most consistent results in the past. And the last angle I'm going to get, I'm going to set up a tripod as far over my Vizio putting mat as I can without getting in the way of my stroke or my stance. Now I like recording this in slow motion because I'll really be able to see exactly what my stroke is doing. Now we'll be able to see here, I can actually track how well I'm going down my kind of arc and how square the face is staying to that arc throughout the stroke. I'll also look at backswing length versus follow through from this angle. This is kind of like the angle that it's the best checkup that I can do for myself without kind of having to work with a putting coach. Big fan of this. Try to do it at least once a week, if not more, depending on how much time I have. Once I've taken a good look at my setup from the 3 different angles, I'm just going to do a very simple drill here with the towel under my arms. This is going to force me to keep my arms very connected to my torso, and this is going to prevent me from starting the stroke with my hands. Just really feels like a very solid motion when I do this. Not a drill that I necessarily have to do a ton of, but I do like doing it just to maintain the feel. And we'll see here from face on that when I do this drill with the towel, it definitely seems like it is more of a shoulder move that initiates the backstroke. Just kind of like one unit working through the ball feels very solid. Now I can get rid of the putting mat because the setup work is done. It is time to work on pace control. So through working on setup, we did a lot of work on start line. It's kind of a 2-for-1 there. If we're thinking about making putts, it really comes down to 2 things. Can you start the ball on line, and can you hit the right pace? So this putting drill or pace drill that I'm going to do is very simple. 3 balls, different distances, and I'm just trying to stop them between the hole and the wall. And at times I'm going to try and get them closer to the wall, at times I'm going to try and get them closer to the hole. And whatever amount of time that I have left in my practice block, I'm going to commit to just doing this drill over and over and over again as many times as I can. Sometimes I'll start at the front, work to the back, switch it up, start at the back, work back to the front. Not too worried about line here, we've already worked on that, just focusing on pace.
Alright guys, before we wrap up today's session on maximizing your practice time, I've got some exciting news to share with you. I am very proud to announce my new role as brand ambassador for Golf Griffon des Sources, one of the most spectacular golf courses in the Montreal area. Some of you might remember this course as I did create some content there last season. Golf Griffon des Sources offers breathtaking views, challenging fairways, and an unforgettable experience. This course has something for everyone, with its meticulously designed layout, beautiful landscapes, and welcoming atmosphere. It is by far one of the best public courses in the Montreal area, both in terms of course layout and in terms of the conditions of the course itself. If you have not played it before, you should definitely make a point of playing it this year. You absolutely cannot go wrong by playing here. Now, back to maximizing your practice time if you only have 2 hours to spare. The main goal here is that we want to maximize the amount of practice that we get into the 2 hours while being very smart about where we focus our time. As you would have noticed today, the majority of my ball striking practice was split between driver and my wedges. If you're not necessarily a long hitter, perhaps your practice session would look more like driver and mid irons. What I laid out for you today is a great blueprint, but it might have to be altered a little bit based on your game and the clubs that you are going to be hitting more often. Whatever you do, do not neglect your short game or putting. At the end of the day, the point of the game is to get the ball into the hole, and the short game is how we're going to do that. Improving your short game is the quickest way to lowering your score overall. So even if you can't commit hours upon hours, day after day to practicing, if you're strategic and keep a clear plan, you will see improvement even in a very short window of time. So make the most of your next practice session and keep working towards your goals. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, leave me a comment down below letting me know how you structure your practice. I would love to hear your thoughts. That's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, I'll be back again next week with another video. Cheers, guys.